Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Woo! My goodness, we have seen some pretty crazy Mets games before, okay? We all have as Mets fans. I don't care if you are 50, if you are 30 like I am, or if you are 13. You have seen some pretty crazy Mets games with all the ups and downs. Sometimes they end in absolute agony, just abject disappointment. In fact, I would say that the majority of the time in the case of the Mets, they end in that horrible gut feeling in the pit of your stomach. But today, it is the Reds who are feeling that, as the Mets are just barely able to make a one-run lead from the 5th inning on. Hold up as Edwin Diaz loads the bases with no outs in the 9th inning with the 5-4 lead hanging by a thread. Diaz able to come back after changing his cleats in the middle of an at-bat and get the final out on a beautiful play from Luisangel Acuna, ranging, I don't even know how many feet. They need to do a stat cast on that. That is how far Luisangel Acuna had to go to his left to get that ball. And Diaz, with the presence of mind to be hustling over to cover first base, a strike from Acuna to Diaz, put it in the books. The Mets just barely get out of Cincy with a win in the opening game of this series. Wow, my goodness, that was the definition of a nail-biting win, but very glad to be on the right side of it for once. It seems the Mets are not on the side of this many times throughout our life, but tonight, able to make it work just barely. Guys, what is up? I am Tony Metro. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are new, be sure to subscribe. Daily Mets content, do a post-game recap after every Mets game. You can also follow me on all the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all of those are in the description of this video. Go ahead, leave this video a like right now. Really appreciate you guys doing that for me. Helps the channel out a long way. The Mets able to get this dub today. And wow, it was, like I said, a nail biter. They come out like gangbusters in the first inning. And for whatever reason, I'm sorry, I think we're all mixed up here. Something doesn't look like it's going right in the stream. Am I crazy, guys? Here we go. Now it's showing up. I had 0 viewers that whole time showing up. That's not usual. So here we go. Now we got 7 in here. Sorry about that, guys. That was a weird little hiccup. YouTube's messing with me. But wow, the Mets come out, like I said, first inning, just swinging the bat all over the place. Starts with a leadoff walk from Francisco Lindor. Base hit from Juan Soto to put runners at the corners. Pete Alonso. We'll be talking a lot about Pete Alonso here tonight. Don't you worry about that. We will definitely be talking about Pete quite a bit tonight. Unfortunately, not in such a glowing light, but you get you get a tap single from Mark Vientos that hugs the third base line to put the Mets up 1-0. Brandon Nimmo hits one to left center that looks like it's going out. TJ Friedl makes the first of a handful of just web gem dazzling plays from Cincinnati tonight to rob a 3-run homer. Soto comes home to tag. At least you get a run in to make it 2-0. Vientos goes to second on the play, and I thought crucial to get that next run in as well. Otherwise felt like a huge momentum loss, even though it's only the first inning. But Starling Marte comes through with a poke single to right field to make it 3-0. 3-run inning in the first. Great start to this important road trip in Cincinnati. Then you get a Mark Vientos absolute laser beam to right center field. Mets up 4-0. We are vibing. Things are good. David Peterson has coasted through the first 2 innings, and then it starts to rear its ugly head. That thing we've been seeing a whole lot of lately. David Peterson has a little bit of a rough time in the third. He's able to escape it, though. Only gives up 1 run. The Mets out another on a Juan Soto double down the line. Stay hot, Wani boy. Love it from Juan Soto. makes it 5-1, but the Reds come back. 3-run fourth inning. The ball on that relay for the second runner reaches home plate well before the slide has even started. Alvarez can't make a good tag, and the second run comes home to score on that play, and all of a sudden it's 5-4. And shockingly, despite that being how the first 4 innings of this game went, of the lineups just trading off blows with each other, that would be the last run that came in to score in this game. And the reason is because the Mets lineup continued to struggle with opportunities tonight. The Reds bullpen did a pretty solid job after they pulled their starter tonight. The Mets couldn't get through against them. They had more opportunities. Pete Alonso, like I said, specifically with a really rough day, started with Abbott, the starting pitcher for Cincinnati, and it continued with whoever they put on the mound tonight. But the Mets bullpen, what a job by them. And the original title of this video was going to be Mets bullpen carries them to tight win. But obviously that all changes despite you getting a really nice 2 outs there from Ryan Stanek in relief of David Peterson in the bottom of the 6th inning. What a job from him despite issuing a walk that would load the bases. Nicely done by him to get out of that jam with a strikeout. He hands the baton over to Brooks Raley, who gives it to Tyler Rogers. And then it comes to Edwin Diaz, who made us all want to throw up with the bases loaded and nobody out, and somehow comes back to strike out the next 2 batters and then induce that ground out on the beautiful play from Acuna. Like I said, put it in the books, baby. What a win for the Mets. Let's go to the chat. JD, unbelievable. It really is, man. I thought bases loaded, nobody out. You're just preparing for the worst at that point. Then when it gets to 2 outs, you're preparing for maybe an even more heartbreaking loss because now you can get out of it. And Gavin Lux, he's a nobody. He's a failed prospect from the Dodgers system. They traded him to Cincy this year, but for whatever reason, Gavin Lux has always done pretty well against the Mets in his career. And I'm thinking this guy's going to do it. He chops it to the right side. Pete comes a little too far to his right. I'm thinking no one's going to be there to cover the first if they can even get to this ball. But somehow Acuna does it. And Diaz, like I said, the presence of mind to go and cover first, and then for Acuna to stick that throw the way that he did. All around beautiful play. Ironic because, like I said before, the Reds with multiple web gems in this one. The Friedel home run rob, diving catch in left field, jumping catch up the middle from their shortstop or second baseman, and then a diving play from their first baseman to rob Jeff McNeil of a potential double down the line. And it ends with the Mets making an excellent defensive play themselves to win this ball game. Unbelievable. Joseph Kwan, I was on my yoga mat pray the whole 9th inning. Oh man, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm just like this, and I'm trying to make sure I can get all the things ready for this stream. Guys, I got to be honest with you. The thumbnail you saw for this video did not have Luisangel Acuna. It did not say Angel above. It said brutal, and it had David Peterson with his cap down, and it had Edwin Diaz with his cap down as well, because that is how it was looking like it was going in that 9th inning. And I want to get on here and live as fast as I possibly can. Fortunately, I was able to delete all that, restart, and now you have the thumbnail and the title that you have here today. So really happy about that. JD says, Stanek Diaz, huge tonight, and we got Tong tomorrow. So we got Tong tomorrow. We will see the debut of Brandon Sproat on Sunday. It is exciting times. I said in a short video today here on YouTube as well as TikTok, if that's where you're tuning in from right now, the Mets need to bury the Reds this weekend. The Mets entered this series with Cincinnati ahead by 5 games. The Giants are actually closer now for the 3rd and final wild card spot with the Mets, but the Mets have an opportunity to put Cincinnati in the rear view mirror. If they can win this series, win 2 out of 3, hey, if you sweep, forget it. But if you at least win 2 out of 3 against the Reds this weekend, you can forget about them for the rest of 2025. And they took a big step toward doing that here tonight. So really happy about that. Guys, go ahead, leave this video a like if you have not already. Really appreciate that. Ray says, Tony, what a hold Houdini win. Yes, a Houdini win. No gut punch. You know, a gut punch was a sucker punch to the stomach that actually killed Houdini. That's usually the type of Houdini that us Mets fans get, is that sucker punch that makes you keel over. Not tonight. No, it was a magic trick of a win. Edwin Diaz pulling a rabbit out of his hat with the help of his assistant, Luisangel Acuna. Love to see it. And hey, we haven't seen Luisangel Acuna on the big league team for quite some time. What does he do? Makes a game-saving play, has a base hit in this one, put a charge into another ball that ended up being a fly out to right field in this game. But that's just a veteran pro type of mentality from a guy like Luisangel Acuna to come up despite inconsistent playing time and to be able to make a play like that. Who said we didn't need this guy? Not me. I said all spring training. I said all year. Luisangel Acuna has a role on this team. Defensive specialist, base running specialist, and hey, he might even start to hit eventually, but let's not get too crazy here. But definitely a nice game from Luisangel Acuna. John Olivo says, bro, I had to take an anxiety pill. If that ball would have gotten past, it would have been game over. Acuna deserves MVP that game, my man. And you know what? The thumbnails I make are basically who was the MVP, who was the LVP, right? If they win, who was the most valuable player, the most important part of the win? They usually go on my thumbnail. If they lose, who was the guy that probably cost them the most? And tonight, I put Luisangel Acuna on it because that is a game-saving play. That is just some ridiculous range from Luisangel Acuna, and then the throw to Diaz, all on Louis. What a freaking play from him. The offense looking like it was going to maybe be Mark Vientos. He has that weak little ground ball single that, hey, an RBI is an RBI. Then he hits a homer. Lindor had a great day. He only shows up as 1 for 1 in the box score, but also drew 2 walks, also got hit by a pitch. So Francisco Lindor with a huge day. He may have actually had 3 walks. So excuse me if I did the wrong box score there for Lindor on this overlay, but Lindor would have probably been one of the guys on this thumbnail, but the Mets offense just couldn't do anything more after they score their first 5 runs of this game. They all come in the first 4 innings of this one. And then from there, the Reds bullpen really just shut them down. Abbott was able to escape a couple jams before he departed, and then the bullpen did a really solid job of keeping the Mets offense at bay. So to me, MVP, 100%, Luisangel Acuna. Jose Lopez Moya, Jesus Christ, Diaz is a high blood pressure case every time, man. I mean, not every time, obviously. We've seen some of the best of Edwin Diaz this year, probably as good as we saw him in 2022 when he was just elite. But man, that was one of those games where he just did not have the control, didn't have command of the fastball. The slider was actually working better for him. Freezes Elly De La Cruz on a fastball right down the middle of the plate. I don't think he was expecting it. Was probably sitting slider. Just a weird 9th inning. I mean, for the bases loaded, nobody out. Edwin Diaz changes his cleats because one of them broke. I mean, what the heck? Just a bizarre 9th inning and finish to this game, but glad the Mets could get it for sure. Ray says, Swaggy V, flowers. He definitely gets the flowers 100%. Like I said, it probably would have been Vientos and Lindor, or maybe even one of the bullpen guys. Stanek, what a huge job he did there in the 6th inning, coming in relief of David Peterson with 2 runners aboard. He's able to get 2 strikeouts to end that one. I know he issued a walk, but wow, what a performance from Ryan Stanek. Brooks Raley, 1, 2, 3. Tyler Rogers able to get through that inning. I mean, the bullpen was just elite tonight for this team up until Edwin Diaz, and fortunately the Mets still able to just barely squeeze by in this one. Ray also says, still need more innings from Peterson. I don't know what has happened to Peterson, man. I really don't know what has happened with David Peterson, but it looks like maybe the whole season is just kind of worn on him. We know that he is well over the amount of innings, or most innings he's ever thrown in a single season. That was 120 something last year. He is above 160 now. I don't know if the entire season's just time on the mound has worn on his arm or something, but Peterson just looks like he is struggling to put some of these innings away. The first 2 innings looked great, needed 16 pitches to get through the first and the 2nd, but then that ugly 3rd inning bounces back with a solid 4th, and then that really ugly 5th inning where the Reds get back and within 1 run, and then for the 6th just couldn't get through it. So we definitely need that old David Peterson that gives us some length and some quality length, because we have obviously not been getting it from anywhere else. And of course we know the news today, the Mets sending Kodai Senga back to AAA. I have to just say for a second before I get back to the comments, I applaud Kodai Senga for being a professional and realizing he is not pitching to his full ability and that he is hurting this team. I really give a hand a hand for Kodai Senga for realizing that he is hurting his team right now and accepting that minor league assignment like a true ball player. So hopefully Senga figures things out in AAA because it was not going well at the big league level. Obviously, Sean Manaea has not been very good. We cannot continue to get starts like this from David Peterson. Fortunately, the bullpen able to bail him out. So very nice all-around team win today. Ray says Swaggy v. Flowers. Yes, definitely gets the flowers. Let me go back up there. Jose Lopez Moya, boy, this starting staff is just pathetic. Well, let's see what happens now. We got Jonah Tong tomorrow for his second career start. Then we're going to have Brandon Sproat's debut on Sunday, and then we get Nolan McLean on Monday against the Phillies. So the three youngins in back-to-back-to-back starts. So that is exciting, and I said it before, guys, if those dudes continue to pitch well, I don't care that they are rookies. If they are pitching the best here at the end of the season and into October, put them in the playoff rotation, because we have seen now for at least 2 months, Peterson, Senga, Manaea, Holmes, name any of the veterans not getting the job done in the starting rotation. So you go with the hot hand come playoffs. You go with the hot hand these final 2.5-3 weeks of the regular season while you're still trying to cement your spot in the playoffs. Absol says, must have been the shoe malfunction. Diaz was good after that. Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine that it would definitely affect you on the mound when you don't have a proper cleat intact. So good that Diaz was able to change out the cleats. I mean, that was just such a weird ninth inning. They said it themselves. They've never seen anything like it. The guys on the broadcast, Gary, Keith, and Ron, I have never seen anything like that myself either, outside of maybe a JV baseball game. So super wild, but it definitely looked like he started to get better command after switching out to the black cleats. So good sign there. Edward Christian Aquan, it must be the shoes. It's the shoes. He switched for the blacks. I like those black cleats he had on. The blue ones were pretty swaggy too, but the black ones, obviously he had a lot better command and he gets the job done there. So love it from Edwin Diaz. Abso says, or I'm sorry, Ray says, Nimmo showed up and got robbed from a 3-bagger. Nimmo's been just on fire. 11-game hitting streak for him now. He has been hitting the ball all over the place and with authority, but gotten robbed a couple of times lately, and that one literally robbed of a 3-run homer. And like I said, that brought in a run. It was a sac fly. Soto comes home to score. What a play from Mark Vientos to think of tagging from first. He goes to second, and then he comes around to score on Starling Marte's 2-out base hit to right field to make it 3-0 in the first inning. That I felt was a huge momentum swing. You would have been leaving another run out there, but Marte comes through. Obviously, that wasn't going to be the end-all, be-all in the first inning. There were a lot of twists and turns in this game after that, but hey, that ultimately is the difference in this one-run game. One of the Mets' first wins. I think they had lost 9 of their 10 previous one-run games up until here on Friday night. So really love to see the Mets coming through with a tight win. Wow, what a play. I'm watching it again. Just bang, bang. Acuna to his left, falling to his knee, gets back up. Edwin Diaz there, the perfect throw. Beautiful. Guys, leave a like on this video for a really nice Mets win on a Friday night. Danny says, Cindy made some gold glove. Cincy made some gold glove gems also in that one. Yeah, 100%. They made some ridiculous catches in this game, and I just kept shaking my head and putting my head in my hands and thinking this is waiting for the other shoe to drop. Cincy is making all of these plays. The Mets have squandered multiple scoring opportunities. David Peterson exits this game early despite being staked to a 4-0 and then a 5-1 lead. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop like it has so many times here in 2025, but the Mets, like I said, what is the expression? Snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat. Usually it's snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory for this Mets team, but instead they do the opposite. So I am really happy about it. Red Bear Fox, the offense couldn't do much because Alonso killed multiple opportunities. Alonso was the LVP tonight. Yes, Red Bear Fox. So I said it in the beginning of the stream. We got to talk about the night Pete Alonso had. My goodness. So first inning, first and third, nobody out, and Pete Alonso goes down swinging. Okay. Next at bat, 2 more runners aboard. Pete Alonso goes down swinging. Okay. So he's left 4 men on base, 2 of them in scoring position now through his first 2 at-bats, both of them strikeouts. Then he comes up again with a runner on second, and he can't come through. So 5 left on base, 3 in scoring position. Pete ends up going 0 for 5 in this game. He stranded 5 runners. Really bad day for Pete Alonso, and I don't want to kill the guy because he's had overall a pretty good year, but he has definitely not been as good as he was in the beginning of the season with runners in scoring position lately. It has definitely been a problem. It's almost as if Juan Soto has stolen all of his good juju and magic in those spots, and he is using it all now because Pete has definitely struggled to come through in those spots, and some of them where you just need to put the ball in play. You just need to put a ball into the outfield in the air, get a sac fly. Instead, he also rolls into a double play that ends that inning with Lindor and Soto aboard again in the 7th. It was a bad day for Pete Alonso, LVP for sure, Red Bear Fox. Edward Christian Aquan, great win today. Rough start with Peterson. Our bullpen shows up today. Like I said, Raley was so underrated this season. Vientos is already on playoff mode, and Acuna is magical. At this point, if the Mets make the playoffs, which I do think they are, but I always say if because I never want to assume, Angel Acuna has to be on this roster. Luisangel Acuna has to be on this roster for what he brings you defensively and what he brings you on the base paths. You saw him in the 9th inning. He gets a 2-out single. He steals second base and then comes in and plays second base and makes that brilliant play to save the game. I mean, you don't win this game without Luisangel Acuna tonight. He has to have a spot on a potential playoff roster for this team. I am sad to say it. Unfortunately, Ronnie Mauricio has been completely buried by this team. Luisangel Acuna absolutely, positively deserves to be a playoff member for this roster. Don't fight me on that. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Joe says Acuna is clutch. Don't forget how he came up with, where did that go? Oh my God. How he came up big last year when Lindor was, it was unbelievable what what Acuna did last year when Lindor was going through that back injury in September, was playing shortstop every day and did it flawlessly. Yeah, he wasn't hitting too much. He was hitting much better last September than he has been here this year in 2025, but Luisangel Acuna was huge for them defensively and just what he provides as a spark on the base pass when he does actually get on base. This guy needs to be on a playoff roster for this team. Danny says, Vientos has the stick of thunder. I like it, like Thor. D-Rails, the family's here. Let's go. D-Rails, what's up, man? How you doing? Your family. Hey, it's like Olive Garden. When you're here, your family. Although I would never go to Olive Garden, so don't you ever accuse Tony of that, okay? My grandmother be rolling over in her grave if she ever saw me step foot into an Olive Garden. Although I got to say, those unlimited breadsticks, that's hard to beat, right? Ray says 100% on Acuna, Tony. That one play was the whole game. Pivotal indeed. Ray, 100%. Hope you're doing well. Roy Batty, Diaz trying to send me to the hospital. Okay, I think I may have died and actually went to heaven. I don't think this is actually real life. It can't be. Bases loaded, nobody out, 2 walks, the base hit to lead off the inning. There's no way the Mets won that game, right? I have to be dreaming, right? Did I fall and knock my head on my kitchen counter or something? Because they don't ever win a game like that, and they did. So I'm right there with you, man. He could have sent me to the hospital too. Jimmy James C. Diaz is a Chad, even if he makes it too chaotic. Diaz is like, I got that confidence, man. I don't care. I'm a good pitcher. I know it. Even if I don't have it at first, I'll get it. I like that confidence. You got to have that kind of swagger as a closer, right? So be nice as a Mets fan to maybe not have to deal with that all the time, though. I know he's been good this year, but let's see. Mets Talk with Hayden. Huge win, LFGM. Hayden, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. A huge win indeed. Bury the Reds this weekend, guys. Put them in the rearview mirror. Unfortunately, doesn't look like the Giants are going anywhere. They are averaging over 7 runs a game over their last 11, and they're going to increase it tonight because they are leading the Cardinals 8-1. They're going to win again. Rafi Devers is hot. 99 RBIs, 33 homers now on the year. He looks like he has gotten acclimated to San Francisco. I'm not saying I'm worried about the Giants catching us, especially if the Mets just do what they need to do, and that is win games. But put the Reds completely in the rearview mirror. Take care of business. Win tomorrow or Sunday. Or, hey, how about both, right? That sounds like a plan to me. Let's see, Ray or D-Rels, good to see you. D-Cash, congrats on 2.5K, big dog. What's up, D-Cash? Appreciate you, man. Thank you. 2.5K subscribers, guys. That is a testament to you for all coming here, all you Mets fans tuning in, watching my streams, interacting with me, commenting, leaving likes, sharing it with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Truly We started this at 1,200 followers or subscribers, whatever you want to call it, when this season began back in April, and we have now more than doubled it. So give it up for yourselves. Thank you guys very much. And you have no idea how much fun I have getting to do this with you guys, mostly after wins. It's not as much fun after losses, but that's not because of you guys. That's because of the Mets. But let's see. D-Rails, let's go for a sweep. I love the sound of that. Got Jonah Tong on the mound tomorrow. Got Brandon Sproat's debut on Sunday. Let's put our foot on the Reds' throats and just put them out of their misery. They're a nice little club. Don't get me wrong. They are feisty. They are annoying as all get out, but we are a better team. And we need to show them that, and we need to just put them down for good, bury the Reds, put the headstone over the grave, and be done with Cincinnati for 2025. Sounds like a deal to me, D-Rouse. Danny says the young guys pitching can push this team to get on a roll for sure. Diaz, keep wearing those shoes the rest of the way. Don't change the shoes. This is going to be the new rallying cry now, right? It's going to be Edwin Diaz's black cleats. That is going to be the new rallying cry for the Mets here down the stretch. But I do love the idea of the young guys pushing the rest of this pitching staff. Sproat, Tong, McLean. McLean, obviously, the most success because obviously he's had the most starts so far. We'll see what Tong does tomorrow, and then we'll see what Sproat does on Sunday. But man, I am really pleased with today's win, and I am super excited for the rest of this weekend. Hopefully, like I said, get the series win or even the sweep, but even more so because we get to see two of their prize pitching prospects make another start in the big league. So exciting, exciting times. Not excited for the New York Jets this weekend, that's for sure. Forget about the NFL. I don't want to watch the Jets on Sunday, but I begrudgingly will. But let's see. Edward, Christian Nachman. The only glaring hole right now is our veteran starting pitchers giving up runs. Our rookies going to save the season, but they still need to lock the F up. Tong's going to get tested tomorrow. LFGM. Yes, it'll be a test. This is a good Reds lineup, man. Like I said, feisty. They put the ball in play. They have some speed. They got a little pop, though. We didn't see any long balls from them tonight. And obviously, we see what they do defensively. But in case of Tong and Sproat, yes, definitely going to be a test for those guys this weekend. But the veterans got to get back on track if this team does want to go all the way. 100% with you there, Edward. Mark Beretta, one of our biggest and most important wins in this stretch run. Let's get more runs tomorrow. Yes. How about we do this? Not have to sweat it out to the very last second the way that we did tonight. That would be nice. There were a lot of opportunities for this Mets lineup to score more runs and add on to this lead, namely Pete Alonso. But let's come out tomorrow like gangbusters again. Let's score 8. Put up a nice little big run support for Jonah Tong like they did in his MLB debut. How does that sound when they scored, 19 that game? Let's do it again tomorrow, huh? Let's see. Danny says Pete needs to eat something different. Yeah, Pete needs to make some type of change in Cincinnati. Maybe he had Skyline chili tonight, and that's why he didn't do well. He was feeling the agita. I don't know, but something did not look good with Pete. You can tell usually when he's swinging and missing at fastballs early in the count that it's not going to be a good at-bat for him, and that was the case tonight for Pete, especially in that first inning at bat, and then again I think it was in the third inning or maybe the second when he came up again with runners on base and struck out again, not to mention a double play and then a fly out. Not a good day for Pete Alonso. Eric Douglas, hey Tony, you ever done a collab with Wardy? You and him are the two favorite Mets creators on YouTube. I have not. Wardy's awesome. I don't watch his stuff really, but I did a few years ago, and he seems like a good dude. So door's always open for it. Yeah, I would be totally open to doing that. We'd have to link up. I'll have to reach out to him. He doesn't need my help. He's doing great things over there. So I'm open to it for sure. So yeah, maybe that's a good idea and I'll reach out to him. But thank you. I appreciate being named in the same air as someone that's as successful as he is. But thank you. I really do appreciate you tuning in very much, Eric. Danny says, I like Acuna. He needs to be with the team. Agreed. I mean, he just brings something that no one else on this team does. McNeil has been great with the bat, obviously. He's probably got to be more playing center field at this point with the lack of production from Cedric Mullins, with Tyrone Taylor on the injured list now for who knows how long, with Jose Siri lost in space. Not that we really even want Siri back on this roster, but Jeff McNeil should probably just be the everyday center fielder at this point, and Luisangel Acuna can slot in at second base and give you that defense. And I'm not saying start him every game now just because he made this nice play today. You definitely still want to get Brett Beatty's bat in there, but you bring Luisangel Acuna into these late games for his defense and for his base running skills. Both of those things were on display here tonight, so love to see it. Ray says this win should, and should is the operative term, give the team some juice for the rest of the series. I am with you, Ray, 100%. You got to hope that it does. I mean, the pitching really carried them in this one. It looked like it was going to be the bats scoring those early runs, but then the bullpen, man, again, Stanek, Rayleigh, Rogers, all with scoreless appearances. And then Diaz, you're thinking, oh boy, here we go, but finds a way to wiggle out of it. So the pitching, really good job by them today, especially that bullpen. Love to see it. Hopefully it does give them that juice. You saw the way after they won this game, just the excitement on their face, everyone jumping up and down on each other, fist pumping and everything. That was awesome to see. Totally with you. Think it does give them some juice. Hopefully it carries over into the rest of this weekend, and I think it does because they get to see Tong and they get to see Sprout these next 2 days pitching, so I think it definitely will. Let's see. Ray says 2K and going to 1 million plus. Tony, I appreciate that, man. I hope so. I mean, 1 million, I don't know if there's 1 million Mets fans seeking this kind of content out on YouTube and all the other platforms I'm on, but hey, if you guys know Mets fans, if your friends and family are Mets fans, share this video with them. That's how we continue to grow. Appreciate you guys all so very, 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 very much. John Olivo, the OMG Mets are coming back. Same thing happened last year. I still think we need Iglesias back. He kept the aura of the Mets. Well, the Iglesias train has left the station. The ship has sailed, okay? Iglesias has been with the Padres all year. He's never coming back. I mean, sure, maybe next year, but on a minor league contract, kind of like when we had him last year, okay, maybe, but he's not having a good year with San Diego, but I get it, the aura, the energy, yes, but hopefully this is kind of one of those inspiring wins. You could see it on my highlights over here that just played, just how all the guys were juiced after that win, so hopefully that's the case. Nobody beats down Fair Tire. Nobody. Alvarez looked like he gained weight. I don't know. I didn't really get a great look at Alvy, but we know he's been working hard down at AAA and, playing with the broken hand, pinky, wrist, whatever it is. So all kinds of issues. By the way, guys, the Mets are now, I think, only a half a game behind the Padres for the second wild card spot in the National League, and they are trailing the Rockies 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning. They are actually getting one hit. If the Padres do go on to lose tonight to the Rockies, they will be tied with the Mets for the second wild card spot. The Padres obviously hold the tiebreaker, having swept us in San Diego last month, but the Mets will have the same record as the Padres if they lose tonight. Again, trailing 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning, getting one hit by the Rockies at Coors Field. They have been sliding lately, and of course we know the Mets have the Padres at home in just about 2 weeks for a 3-game series. So, hey, we are holding on to the third wild card spot, but like the Jeffersons, we might be moving on up, baby. Let's go. Come on. Let me finish with the chat, and then we're going to go listen to some sound. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I'll actually just do that right now. Let's see. Town Fair Tire, Baseball Hut, and Tony are my two favorite Met channels. I just found Tony like 2 weeks ago. I appreciate that. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire, and I appreciate your name. As your loyal WFAN listener myself, I am sure that you are too. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. I'm going to have to get an ad with them, see if they want to broadcast on here. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Baseball Hut, I think I've come across him before, and we've chatted, but he seems like a good guy. Roy Batty, too many burritos for Francisco Alvarez. I hope not. Hey, he had a base hit to the right side of the infield today in his first at-bat back, so that was nice to see for Francisco Alvarez. Had that one little issue where he ended up having a ball pop out of his mitt that advanced 2 runners in the inning where Stanek was pitching, but fortunately no harm, no foul, as Stanek, again, nails like the rest of this bullpen tonight, outside of kind of Edwin Diaz there in the beginning of the 9th inning, but able to wiggle out of that one with a strikeout. Jose Lopez Moya says, man, oh man, the Mets can beat the Phils, but not the Marlins, and yet the Phils can beat the Marlins and not the Mets. Who can decipher this? This is the entire National League East, man. It's like they can beat them and we can't beat them, but we can't beat them. It's just insane. You can't make sense of it. We can't beat the Braves can't beat the Phillies can't beat us. We can't beat the Marlins lose to the Phillies. It makes no sense. And then the Nationals are just in the middle of this all, probably getting beat up by most teams, but even they will have a couple wins against us here and there. Let's see. Ray says Mets just need to keep on winning and not look in the rear view mirror. Hey, there's a reason why they make the windshield bigger than the rear view mirror, because you always gotta be looking forward, baby. It's gotta be a McConaughey line, right? It should be. It should be in a movie with Matthew McConaughey. If it's not already, then I am going to trademark that line and say that it should be, and I'm going to make a movie, write a script, and have Matthew McConaughey be the lead man for it. Let's see. I think we have one more here. Ray says, the game will feel secure if we are up 20 runs in the ninth. LOL, that is literally what I say to my girlfriend all the time. If the Mets are winning by 20 in the ninth inning with 2 outs, I will feel fine. But until then, no, I never feel like any lead is safe with this Mets pitching staff lately. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at, or rather listen to what the guys had to say about this one. Let's start with Edwin Diaz and what happened here in that ninth inning and just his thoughts on it.
They load the bases. There was nobody out. You know, I've been in that situation before. I know I got 2 choices, win the game or lose the game. So I made the right choice, win the game, go after them and try to get them out, and that's what I did.
I don't know that Edwin Diaz is the sharpest tool in the shed or the brightest bulb, if you will. And you know what? Sometimes you almost want that to be your closer. You don't want them overthinking. He says, I could lose the game or I could win the game, and I decided to win the game. Okay, yeah, because that's how it works, right? I decided to win. I could have decided to lose, but I just chose to win the game. Okay, like, whatever works. That is a one-liner of all time there for Edwin Diaz. I want to hear about his shoes. Let's hear what he had to say about that.
When they load the bases, there was nobody out. You know, I've been in that situation before.
No, come on. We already saw that one. So this is him about covering first base. We know that last year, game 161 against the Braves in the 8th, before Lindor's game-winning home run, he failed to cover first base, and that allowed the Braves to take the lead in that inning. So they're asking him about that.
That final play, you got off the mound really fast. I mean, is that just total instinct there?
You know, I last year, the last game of the season, that happened to me. So I remember always that, like, every time when they hit the ball to the first base side, second base side, I gotta go quick to first base to cover the base. You know, I don't want that happen again, like happened in Atlanta last year. So I knew as soon they hit the ball there, I start running to the base to see if we can get the out.
And I mean, it was a bang play. Like, he had to be there right then and there. I mean, it just had to be right at that time. It was a perfect throw from Acuna, who put a little bit of mustard on it, and he didn't lollipop it. And it's just a beautiful all-around play from Acuna to Diaz for the 4-1 put out to end this game and give the Mets the win. Love to see it. Guys, leave this video a like if you have not already. Go ahead and do that now. We're going to go through some more sound and then the box score, and then we'll preview tomorrow's game before we wrap things up. I didn't see anybody in Discord for phone calls, so no phone calls, I guess, today, unless you guys want to do that. I'll open it up again, but if you do want to be a part of the show, go to the link in the description of this video to my Discord server. You'll go there. It'll put you in the weight room, and then I'll put you in when we're ready to take calls. I'll keep an eye on that, but let's see. Ray says it's like Stanglese type. Oh, like Stangalese. I see what you're saying, like Casey Stengel, or maybe even some Yogi Bear, but yes, Stangalese. Yes, exactly. I decided to win the game instead of lose the game. Wow, profound thoughts from Edwin Diaz. You love to see it. Edward Christian Aquin. By the way, shout out to that Alvarez catch on that wild Diaz pitch. That can easily score 1 for the Reds. Yeah, the one that went over his head, that was with 2 outs. I think that was against Lux. I'm pretty sure it was against Lux. Maybe it was Ellie De La Cruz when there was 1 out. I can't remember. But yes, that ball was well behind him and over his head. Really nicely done there by Francisco Alvarez. And you could also see him there after walking the first batter. I think maybe after the base hit, he kind of gave him that, hey, calm down kind of thing. And that is something that Alvy has brought to this team and really gotten good at, as far as commanding the pitching staff, not only with the fingers that he lays down for pitch calls and sequences, but just kind of being a guy that can help them keep their composure. So that was really nice to see from Francisco Alvarez as well. Edward Christian Aquin. Oh, no, I got to that one. Jose Lopez Moya says, good night, everybody. Got to be up at 4 a.m. God bless. God bless you, Jose Lopez Moya. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Edward says, anyways, have a good night to us and the Mets. Have a good night, Tony. LGM, let's get that W tomorrow, 100%. Thank you for tuning in, Edward. Appreciate it very much. Let's hear what you know what? I was going to hear what Mark Vientos had to say. I'd actually rather listen to David Peterson, who it's not the worst start that he's had lately, but it's definitely not the Peterson that we had seen for the majority of the first half this year, and that we were hoping that he had just become on a night in, night out basis. Let's hear what he had to say.
What he's doing right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know, you see a guy go through stuff like that with injuries, and we all want to be out there, and for him to be able to fight the way he is, to be able to contribute and
he's actually just talking about Alvarez returning from the injured list as early as he did. I was hoping that they had asked Peterson more about his outing tonight, and we could have heard about that, but oh well, no big deal. Vientos is hot, guys. Vientos playoff 2024 second half. Vientos is back, and you love to see it. Yeah, they're all being asked about Alvarez, which is pretty wild, but then you got a bunch from Diaz. All right, so pretty much it for sound, I think, guys. We'll go over to the box score real quick, and then we're going to preview tomorrow's game as well. A nice win for the Mets. Unfortunately, guys, the Phillies do take care of business. Not only do they win 2 out of 3 against the Brewers this week, but they also open with a win against Miami tonight, and so the lead remains at 6 in the National League East, and it's looking very slim by the day that the Mets are going to have a chance to win the division, barring a 4-game sweep of them at Citizens Bank Park beginning on Monday. And as much as I think this Mets team is better than the Phillies, asking for a 4-game sweep in their yard is a mighty tall order, and I just probably don't see that happening. And if you're entering that series with a 6-game deficit, you almost have to have a 4-game sweep to have any chance, with only 14 games remaining at that point to winning the division. So we will see what happens, but hey, last year, this team went all the way to Game 6 of the NLCS as the final wildcard team. So you get into the dance, anything could happen. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Didn't realize the Giants are 4 games back. Yeah, so this was an ultra important win, not only because you keep the Reds a game back, an extra game back with the win. They would have been 4 back, and then the Mets lost this game. Looks like the Giants are going to win. They would have been 3 back, and we would have been pressing here, and we would have been worried about the rest of this weekend against Cincinnati. So definitely a very important win with what San Francisco has been doing lately, and obviously with the potential of losing a full game to the Reds in the standings. But real quick, we'll go through the box score. Lindor 1 for 1. Like I said, it doesn't look like much, but draws 3 walks. I don't think that includes his hit by pitch either, so he was on base in all 5 of his at-bats today. Soto 2 for 4. Fouled that ball off of his ankle. I really hope he's okay. It took him a while to get back into the batter's box. He ended up drawing a walk there. Stayed in the game defensively, but Pete, my goodness, this is ugly. 0 for 5, 2 strikeouts, all of them almost coming with runners on base. He has the double play. Just a bad day for Pete. Forget it. Go to bed tonight, have a good night's sleep, and just forget it. Walk it off. Vientos with the big day. I mean, 2 hits. One of them a laser beam solo shot to right center, and then one of them a bunt single that scores a run, but they're all created the same. They all go down in the box score the same, so that was nice for Mark. Beatty pinch hit, struck out in the 9th inning. Nimmo 1 for 4. Marte 1 for 4. McNeil 1 for 4. Alvey with a base knock, and Luisangel Acuna with a base knock. So every starter in the lineup outside of Pete Alonso with a base hit in tonight's game. Oof, not a great game for Pete. If I have said it once, I've said it a million times tonight. So I'll lay off Pete. Ray says, Tony, good to see you, bro. Thanks for the show. Let's get this series. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you tuning in. We're wrapping up here, guys. Alvin Solano, Mark, the Prince of Queens is on fire, baby. I love to see it. Yes, sir. Mark Vientos is swinging that thunder stick, and y'all better watch out, NL foes, especially come playoff time, because that's where Swaggy V seems to shine, at least based on what we saw from the dude last year and what we're seeing from him here down the stretch. But let's find tomorrow's game, preview it real quick. We know it's going to be Jonah Tong on the bump for the Mets, and it'll be his 2nd career start. Went 5 innings against the Marlins in his debut, gave up 6 hits, didn't walk a batter, but ended up getting charged with just 1 of the 4 runs after Lindor and Alonso with errors in that 5th inning, but still able to get through it. I think it was on 90-something pitches, 97 pitches in that one, so 6 strikeouts. Let's see what Jonah Tong has in store for us in his 2nd career start. Hopefully another step forward. First road start, so that'll be interesting to see how he does. And the Mets will be taking on Brady Singer, right-hander for for the Reds so far this year in 27 starts, has a 4.08 ERA. This guy, we know. We've seen him around the league before. He's very hittable. Last couple times out, his previous start, 6 innings, a 3-run ball versus the Cardinals. Before that, 6 innings of 1-run ball against Arizona. I mean, this dude is a 6-inning machine. Maybe the Mets need to find a way to acquire Brady Singer for next year, because look at that. Last 4 starts has gone 6 innings exactly, and last 5 of his 6 starts has gone exactly 6 innings. Geez, the Mets could use that like a shot in the arm. But wow, the guy has been pitching really well. His August numbers were solid. 2.41 ERA over 33 2/3 innings. But guess what, guys? I got news for you. It ain't August no more. It's September. So let's start Brady Singer's September off on the wrong foot. What do you say, Mets fans? Let's go get this series dub tomorrow with Jonah Tong on the mound, and maybe even then the sweep Sunday and Brandon Sproat's debut. But guys, tonight it is a very nice win as Luisangel Acuna to the rescue, making that play to bail out Edwin Diaz, who tight ropes things in the 9th inning, and the Mets hold on for a narrow 5-4 win. They extend their lead over the Reds in the final wild card spot to 6 games. It will remain at 4 if the Giants do win this game, which it appears that they will. But if the Padres lose this game, the Mets will be in a virtual tie with them for the 2nd wild card spot. So 2 weeks of baseball left, guys. Going to be really interesting to see how this all goes down. But really quick, let me go back to the chat before we wrap it up. LFGM says Swaggy V is back to raking for the Mets. Yes, sir. He says, let's hope Jonah Tong can pitch at least 6 good innings with the defense to back him up. Do you think the Mets can catch the Phillies? I'll just say this. Like I said just a few moments ago, the Mets are going to need to enter that series trailing by no more than 5, and then they probably need to win at least 3 of 4. If the Mets win 3 of 4 against the Phillies next week, there's a puncher's chance. But unfortunately, they are running out of time. They play the Phillies tough, but there are only so many games left on the schedule and opportunities to make up ground. And getting 3 out of 4 only gives you 2 back in the standings. Getting all 4 gives you 4, but again, trying to ask for a 4-game sweep on the road of the division leader is asking a lot. So I'm going to go out on a limb and probably say they're not going to catch them, but there still definitely is a chance for it to happen. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's a nice win for the Mets here tonight. Appreciate y'all being here. Leave this video a like if you have not already. We're going to end things here now, but we will be back with another post-game recap after tomorrow's 2nd game of the series with Cincinnati. Jonah Tong's 2nd MLB start. It'll be all here on my channel, so be sure to subscribe if you are not already. Until then, though, I am Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.